You never forget the sound of a gavel hitting hardwood. That sharp crack inside the courthouse last month didn't just settle a case. It ended a war I never asked for. All because my wife wore a t-shirt. Yeah, you heard me right. Not a gun, not even a holster. Just a faded gray t-shirt with a picture of one. But to HOA President Karen Mitchell, that was apparently brandishing a firearm on community property. Her words, not mine. Fast forward 3 weeks and suddenly my wife, Lily, is being sued in county court by a woman who thinks she's Judge Dredd of Lakewood Shores HOA. But here's the thing about Karen. She made one very expensive mistake. See, Karen's HOA doesn't actually have jurisdiction over our lake cabin. It never did. And when the judge saw what she'd filed under her official title, he laughed so hard he nearly spilled his coffee. But before we got to that sweet moment of justice, we had to survive 3 months of harassment threats, bogus fines, and one unbelievable stunt involving the sheriff's office. This wasn't just about a t-shirt anymore. This was about control. And Karen was about to learn the hard way. Never start a war on land you don't own. When we first bought the lake cabin, it was supposed to be our little escape from the chaos of city life. No traffic, no noisy neighbors, no politics. Just me, Lily, the water, and the quiet hum of pine trees swaying in the wind. For 2 years, it was perfect. Then Karen Mitchell moved in. If you've ever dealt with an HOA president who treats her title like a military rank, you already know exactly who I'm talking about. Karen wasn't elected. She seized power. One summer, the old HOA president retired and Karen volunteered to temporarily manage things until a vote could be organized. That vote never happened. 2 months later, she was mailing out updated community compliance handbooks like she was issuing federal law. At first, I ignored her little power plays. Things like complaining that my dock wasn't painted an HOA-approved shade of brown, or the time she politely reminded me that fire pits were not permitted without prior review. It was annoying, but not war-worthy. Then came the day Lily wore the t-shirt. It was the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. Lily came down to the dock in her favorite old shirt, the one with a faded graphic of a revolver on the front and the words, Smith & Wesson, the original social distancing tool. Karen froze when she saw it. Her face twitched like a Wi-Fi router dropping signal. "Excuse me," she said, marching up to us like we'd committed a felony. "You cannot wear that in this community. That's brandishing." I blinked. "Karen, it's a shirt. It promotes violence," she snapped. HOA Bylaw 14B. No display of firearms on community property. "You're in violation." "Karen," I said carefully, "this isn't community property. We're standing on our dock. We're outside the HOA's jurisdiction." The shorter deputy exchanged a look with his partner, then nodded. He pulled out his tablet and accessed the county zoning map. After 2 minutes, he sighed. "He's right. This property isn't under HOA authority." I thought that was the end of it. But Karen wasn't done. Later that week, I discovered she had emailed the entire neighborhood, claiming we'd been detained for illegal weapons possession. She fabricated screenshots of county records to make it look like our property was HOA controlled. I called her. "Karen, this is defamation." She responded sweetly. "You'll regret this, James." That's when I knew we were past negotiations. This wasn't just about rules anymore. This was about Karen's power. So I hired an attorney, and not just any attorney, Laura Myers. Laura specializes in HOA takedowns. If Karen thought she was the sheriff of Lakewood Shores, Laura was about to be the judge, jury, and executioner. The day of the hearing felt like walking into a gladiator pit. Karen strutted in with a folder stuffed with fake bylaws and doctored maps. Her 3 HOA board cronies followed behind her like backup dancers. Laura leaned over and whispered in my ear, "Watch her face. It's going to be fun." Karen launched into a passionate speech about community, safety, and firearm regulations. She waved a copy of her precious HOA handbook like it was the Constitution itself. Then Laura stood up, calm, measured. She handed the judge a single printed page from the county zoning office. "Your Honor," she said clearly, "this is the official boundary map. Our client's cabin is outside HOA jurisdiction by nearly 400 feet. The judge squinted at the map. Then he turned to Karen. "Ma'am, do you have any legal documentation proving otherwise?" Karen stammered. Her lips twitched. I was told." The judge leaned back. "Case dismissed." Karen's jaw actually dropped. Her face turned beet red, but Laura wasn't finished. "Your Honor, we'd like to request damages for harassment, emotional distress, and defamation." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Submit your documentation. We'll review it next week." Karen looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. For the first time in 3 months, she was silent. I thought that was the end of it, but karma has a wicked sense of timing. 2 weeks later, the county launched an audit of the HOA's finances. Turns out Karen had been misusing HOA funds for personal expenses, including $7,400 worth of community landscaping. that was actually a backyard hot tub. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president. She stormed out of the meeting screaming about corruption and conspiracies. And here's the beautiful part. A month after that, Lily and I threw a lake party. Dozens of neighbors showed up. People we'd barely spoken to came over to apologize for believing Karen's lies. By sunset, the dock was covered in string lights and the sound of music carried across the water. Lily leaned against me and whispered, "We won." I smiled, not just because we beat Karen, but because we finally got our peace back. Karen? Last I heard, she moved 2 counties over. Word is she tried joining another HOA. It didn't end well.